This hour by Frederick Remington, fully cooked, ready-to-eat bacon. Exclusive, no refrigeration, 10-year extended shelf life bacon. The thickest, meatiest, center-cut bacon in the industry at fullycookedbacon.com.
The stocks discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. If considering acting on information, we first recommend you seek out a competent, licensed professional for advice.
What kingdom has sent you?
The kingdom of the Most High.
Nothing you have ever experienced can prepare you for the unbridled carnage you're about to witness. The Super Bowl, the World Series, they don't know what pressure is. In this building, it's either kill or be killed. You make no friends in the pits and you take no prisoners. 1 minute, you're up $500,000 in soybeans, and the next, boom, your kids don't go to college and they've repossessed your Bentley. Are you with me?
The Genesis Communication Network is proud to bring you Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week elf, Mark Leibovit, welcoming you on board his financial time machine. And here is the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's Mark Leibovit, and it is Saturday, October 21st. Welcome to Wall Street Raw. As always, we try to have an interesting show for you. Those of you who don't know me, I used to be one of the former elves on the old Louis Rukeyser television program from the 1980s, 1990s, and a market monitor guest on the Nightly Business Report with Paul Kangas for about 30 years. But I also author vrtrader.com and accompanying newsletters covering the stock market. And if you go to our website, vrtrader.com or wallstreetrawradio.com, you'll see all that good stuff. We tend to be aggressive on the markets, but we also talk about the intermediate and longer term as well. And I'm always happy to have names like Don Violo, Harry Boxer, Henry Weingarten, Sinclair No, and even names like Bill Murphy, who will be joining us from GATA on this morning's show. Meanwhile, we know that record highs for the Dow, S&P, and NASDAQ all occurred this past week, marking the 24th time this year that all three major indexes hit record highs on the same day. For those of you who'd like to get more information about my services, again, vrtrader.com, but you can email me at mark.vrtrader@gmail.com for more information. Be advised, of course, that the show is being archived here at GCN, and you can always find copies of our recordings on our website as well. Dow has posted 53 record highs this year, while the S&P has notched up 49, although the number of highs is almost irrelevant. More important, it's the strength and duration of the trend. The S&P has been extremely steady, notching up 241 days without a decline of 3% or more. If the S&P can continue this calm trading, it would break a record going back to 1995. The S&P is on pace for its 9th consecutive year in the green, which would match a similar streak from 1991 to 1999. For the week, the Dow gained 2%, the S&P was up 0.9%, and for the week, while the NASDAQ added 0.4%, the Dow and S&P have now posted gains for 6 consecutive weeks. The Dow is up for 4 weeks. So let's jump to our first guest. We have a lot of stuff to cover on the show today. Don Violo with the Canadian Perspective is waiting to join us. Don? One is called. Welcome back, Don Violo, to Wall Street Raw on the Saturday morning. Don is the former president of the Canadian Society of Technical Analysts, but most notably, he is the publisher of two very, very important websites that I refer to all the time. One is called timingthemarkets.ca, and the other is equityclock.com. He was also an advisor to the Horizon Seasonal Rotation ETF between 2009 and 2015. Good morning, Don. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me back, Mark.
Markets continue to move up and up and up. but I think you seem to feel we should express a word of caution here.
Yeah, a word of caution in the short term. There's no indication that the market has peaked yet, but when the relative strength index for the Dow Jones Industrial Average moves above 70%, the average is considered to be overbought. On Friday, the relative strength index exceeded 87%, a level not seen during the past 20 years. Now, historically, a rollover of the index from near this level has been followed at best by a flat trend and more frequently by a downtrend lasting 3 to 6 months.
That put a dent in the bullish forecasts.
Yeah, be careful out there. It's not a good time to be a big buyer.
The TSX is in a similar position, too. The TSX is mirroring that.
Yeah, the TSX Composite is in a similar technical position. Its relative strength touched 80% earlier this week, the highest level in over a decade. This index also is vulnerable to a flat to downward correction during the next 3 to 6 months.
And the time to buy both markets is when?
Well, historically, when the relative strength index for both the TSX and the Dow has reached around the 30% level, the market is oversold, and that's the time to start thinking about buying. When it gets to around 30%, starts returning up, that's the buy signal.
And I noticed that the Canadian dollar is getting hit a little bit. We got a little hit on Friday. What's the story behind the weakness in the Canadian dollar, which had a big run here in recent weeks anyway, I know?
Yes, we had a couple of economic indicators on Friday which suggested that the economy is growing a little bit slower than expected. Retail sales dropped instead of increasing during the month of August, and the CPI figure was less than expected. The reason that's important is that the Bank of Canada was expected to increase interest rates next week if it looked like the economic data was strong. Clearly it's not strong, and therefore the Canadian dollar came off quite significantly on Friday.
Yeah, strength in the U.S. dollar certainly plays into that as well, which was the case on Friday. Don Violo, thank you for being with us. If you want more information, go to timingthemarket.ca, singular, and equityclock.com. Speak to you next week, Don, and have a great weekend.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Don. In the wings, we have Harry Boxer and our good friend Henry Weingarten on segment 2, so please stay tuned. Always some interesting points from them. And Bill Murphy from GATA will be joining us talking about the old story of gold suppression, which has been going on for decades, and we'd like to have Bill on the show talking about it. It's really no accident that we've seen gold underperform here in recent months. So this is something which will change at some point. But, obviously a lot of people decide to jump into Bitcoin as a hedge, I suppose, versus gold. But we'll touch that point as well with Bill. And, of course, Sinclair Noe will be joining us later in the program as well. Well, we can talk a little bit in about 60 seconds here before the break about valuation. The markets are in the stratosphere. At Friday's close, the S&P gained at 19.5 times forecast earnings. It's the highest since the dot-com era. It represents an earnings yield of 5.1%. More than double the payout from the 10-year Treasury bonds. While the third quarter profit growth is forecast to drop to 2.6% for the S&P companies from around 10% in the first half, we need to remember the impact from hurricanes on third quarter results and expect a rebound in coming quarters. While earnings have been good, enthusiasm today is focused, as you know, on tax cuts and possible repatriation of funds, and the market is repricing that. If you look strictly at the charts, we could be headed to 25,000. The question is it going to happen right away, or is it going to happen in several months? But some of the cyclical work that I do, suggests that things, could possibly get a little inverted here, where we generally see a bottom in October, and it just takes off all the way into the new year and beyond, perhaps even into February. You might see a little trading top coming here by early November, but of course the market could still be higher by then. So you got to be careful out there if you're chasing. If you're a long-term investor, you're just sitting pink here because it just worked out terrifically for those who held the S&P, frustrating many of the hedge fund managers for sure. Stay tuned. We'll be back with you after the break with our friend Harry Boxer and Henry Weingarten.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetraw.radio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
Concur does what might seem impossible for your business. It makes employees happy and finance happy. How? Well, employees love automated expense reports and invoices they can submit and approve from anywhere. And finance loves that they have full visibility into employee spend. Plus, Concur integrates with leading finance systems. Concur makes the process better for everyone. Concur. Expense, travel, invoice. Learn more at concur.com.
Heart disease is on the rise. Clogged arteries, high blood pressure, and high cholesterol levels may not be fully detected by you, but the symptoms are there. Loss of energy, blood sugar spikes and drops, poor circulation, and irregular heartbeat are just a few of these that can alert you that something is wrong. Hear how Heart and Body Extract is making a difference in thousands of people's lives across America.
My blood pressure has normalized. My diabetes has totally improved.
Everyone is telling me now how much healthier I look, and I'm telling everyone how much healthier I feel. I recommend Heart and Body Extract to everyone.
Anybody over 40 in the North American continent should be using this product as a preventative to keep their cardiovascular system healthy.
Order your 2-month supply today by calling 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. Or order online, hbextract.com. Heart and Body Extract, 866-295-5305 or hbextract.com.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the highest quality body armor, period. Why would you go anywhere else? Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI Armor.com.
ProPure water filters. Most trusted, most tested. Right now you can save 25% on the ProPure Nomad gravity system. Visit an authorized ProPure dealer for details. That's PROPUR.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the Internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Hello, Mr. Anderson. The NSA has noticed how much time you spend on conservative news sites. We have no choice but to consider you a domestic terrorist.
Tired of your internet activity being monitored by Big Brother? Get VirtualShield.com, the world's easiest to use virtual private network. Browse the web anonymously, leaving pesky advertisers and spies in the dust. Get started today at VirtualShield.com. Take advantage of our free 30-day trial. VirtualShield.com. You have the right to remain private.
Think positive. Never show any sign of weakness. Always go for the throat. Buy low, sell high. Fear, that's the other guy's problem.
Welcome back to the Wall Street Raw Radio Show with Mark Leibovit, your time machine for the financial markets. Want to know more? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Now, here's the elf himself, Mark Leibovit.
Welcome back, my good friend and always special guest, Harry Boxer from the TechTrader.com. Harry runs a trading room during the day, live trading room, and amazing short-term trading opportunities presented regardless of what the stock market is doing on any given day. It's always having fun following the action. Nice having you on the show again, Harry. Thank you. And what's going on today?
Well, today the market gapped up, and a lot of stocks started doing the same thing. Skechers had a great earnings report. They popped it up to 28.9 range. We actually bought the first little consolidation, and it's now 33 and still running. So that was a good one. TEAM, a company called Atlassian, ran up early. It formed a wedge at around 47.5, and right now, it got up to 50.5 for 3-point trade. And one of the big ones today is QURE, which yesterday I told everyone to buy on a pullback at 13. It almost got to 19.5 today, so it's like 50% since yesterday midday. Amazing. These biotechs are amazing, aren't they?
It is. So, well, what's more amazing is the market continuing to move higher and higher. It's an overbought territory, and the Dow is well over 23,000, got almost to 23,300. Well, what do you think?
Well, I completely disagree with you. McClellan Oscillator is minus 22. How is that overbought?
Okay. Well, relative strength is at high levels, for example.
Yeah, let me say this. The reason for the McClellan Oscillator being minus 22 is because during this run-up, we've had, I would say, pretty poor breadth, BREADTH, right? Mm-hmm. The breadth of the market is with advanced declines and up-down volume, has been somewhat narrow. So you have to be in the right stocks. Talk to any trader I know. They're all complaining it's tough to trade these days. Well, that's because you're in the wrong stocks. You're not in TechTrader.com.
or you have to own the S&P or the Dow, which is leading the way.
Right. As a matter of fact, I have a really good analyst friend of mine who said, and I quote, "To me, the line in the sand is 1973. 2573. And we're at 2571.5 now. When we get above that level, he says the market can go on the blow-off stage, or he can peak out right here. So this is kind of an important area. And I'm going to discount this week. There's a lot of stuff going on politically and internationally, and and Spain, hit the market this week. So I'm going to look. The Dow's up 119 to 23,282, a new all-time high. The S&P is 2571 and change, up to almost 10. And yet advanced declines are only 16 to 12 positive in New York. Nasdaq's 2-1. But even 2-1 in a bull market is no big deal. The up-down volume in New York is 79 to 73. That's how narrow it is. At least on Nasdaq, it's almost 2-1. Nasdaq's having a better day today than the blue chips.
Right. It's an index play. That's what it is. Yeah. Harry, thank you for joining us. Harry Boxer from the TechTrader.com. If you want more information, go to the TechTrader.com, and it's a lot of fun watching hearing the trades. 2
weeks free. Come into site and have all the services that we provide for free, no credit card required.
Okay, 2 weeks, right. 2 week free trial. Yep. Go to the TechTrader.com. Great, Harry. Thank you, and we'll have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you next week. Thank you. Bye-bye. Welcome back, my good friend, and always special guest, Henry Weingarten, here on Wall Street Raw this Saturday morning. Henry is the managing director of the Astrologers Fund, and has made terrific calls on the markets here in for many years. He's only been doing this for about 50 years, so that speaks for itself. I guess we're all survivors, huh, Henry? We're still here doing it.
Absolutely. Anyway, it's an interesting time. Basically, it's a slightly positive time in the markets, astrologically. And, of course, we expected the tax reform to pass this year. So we understand to some extent why markets are up, but we're not happy that there's been no correction. So we're in a bit of a fix here because it's likely to stay up, and I'm not a computer, and I don't like to overpay. So effectively, we're still continuing to raise cash, and we may miss the last 5 or 10% of the upside. Certainly, we could see 7,000 on the Nasdaq, and higher on the S&Ps and on the Dow Jones. If people keep on wanting to buy, it may continue to the end of the year. We're not comfortable, so we'll be more liquid. But again, overall on the economy, we're extremely bullish. So that sort of is an interesting situation. It's a place we often lose a little bit of money at the end because we understand why the markets are up, but we would have liked to have a correction. So we're just being a little conservative, locking profits in more and more, and that's really it.
All right, so we have the U.S. dollar rallying again, and we see gold a little bit under pressure, though holding the lows that we saw earlier this past week. What's going on with the dollar and or gold, in your opinion?
Well, I think they're mispriced. The dollar, I mean, it makes sense the dollar will be strong, but I think gold can be strong as well. Again, we thought gold in the next 2 years would be between 13 and 1,500. We may have to change that to 1,250 to 1,450. But effectively here we're buying a little bit, not too much, but we are adding to our gold positions because we think it's an undervalued asset. Oil is also somewhat undervalued, although, there are a lot of good energy stocks that are worth accumulating, but it's a little bit like Bitcoin. 6,000 is a little ridiculous. Maybe it goes to 10. There was a story in the paper recently about a Dutch family that just took all their holdings, sold their businesses, sold their homes, and putting it all into Bitcoin. And that sort of reminds me of the old tulip days.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're not there yet, but, we're not really bearish in terms of markets till 2019 or 2021, so we still could stay up. It's just an uncomfortable time, so we have to be very specific on what we buy, and in our case, fairly cautious, although if you're a computer and play momentum, you're a happy camper because we're above some very critical numbers where your stops are.
Henry, thank you again. Ran out of time. Henry Weingarten from the Astrologers Fund. We'll speak to you again next Saturday. And if you want more information, folks, go to afund.com. Thank you, Henry.
My pleasure.
Well, gold's the big subject here, and what's really happening with gold. And as you heard, Henry was looking for a push higher, and I have been as well, thinking we can get up toward 1,400 here in the months ahead. It's been really volatile. Got up to the 1375 area last summer, nosedived all the way down to about 1190 or so, and now trading between basically the 1250 and 1350 range. So it's been really wild. But part and parcel to all this is gold suppression, and the central banks are heavily involved in that. And that's one of the reasons we're going to have Bill Murphy back on following the break. We're going to discuss a little bit what he does at GATA and go a little bit to more detail there. In other words, gold, as all markets, is not really a free market. It is suppressed. There are a lot of shenanigans going on, and we know some of the big firms are involved in that, and there have been scandals reported. So we will talk more about that with Bill. Again, please stay tuned to Wall Street Raw.
Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. At wallstreetraw.com, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market crash. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw and Gold News Raw reports at wallstreetraw.com. That's wallstreetraw.com.
Attention type 2 diabetics. If you or a loved one has taken Invokana, Invocomet, or Invocomet XR or other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes and suffered amputation of the toes, feet, or legs, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. The FDA has warned that Invokana, Invocomet, or Invocomet XR and other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes cause an increased role in amputations of the toes, feet, and legs. If you or a loved one has taken Invokana, Invocomet, or Invocomet XR or other inhibitors for type 2 diabetes and suffered amputation of the toes, feet, or legs, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation. Act now. Time is limited to file a claim. For a free consultation and free information, call Injury Help Desk at 800-475-7607. That's 800-475-7607. Again, 800-475-7607. Call now. This is an advertisement. Paid non-attorney spokesperson. www.injuryhelpdesk.com is responsible for this advertisement. Principal office, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, the inventor of MyPillow, and like all of you out there, I had problems sleeping. Pillows would go flat, I would flip-flop all night long, I would wake up with a sore neck, maybe a headache, or feel like I needed a nap even though I slept 8 hours. When I invented MyPillow, I wanted it to where you can move the patented fill to give you the exact support you need as an individual, regardless of sleep position. MyPillow will get you into that deep REM sleep faster, and you will stay there longer. It's not about how much time we spend in bed, it's about how much of that quality sleep we get. I do all of my own manufacturing right here in the United States. I have a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry my pillow, and I give you a 60-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to lose. And here's my best offer ever. You can buy one of my pillows and get one absolutely free.
Go to MyPillow.com or call 800-870-0305 and use promo code GCN. That's MyPillow.com or 800-870-0305 with promo code GCN.
Have you checked your Google search results lately? Search results are usually the first impression that people form of you or your business, so make sure that they create a positive impression with ReputationDefender.com. What the internet says about you can have a big impact on your life and your livelihood, even if it's not true. Fortunately, you can now control how you look online and in online search results with ReputationDefender.com. Call 800-831-0771 now. That's 800-831-0771 for your free reputation analysis. If you have negative material from an ex-employee, upset patient, or former client, newspaper article, legal issue, social media, or other source showing up in your search results, you can combat it with ReputationDefender.com. Our dedicated experts in patented technology can help make your online search results look their best. Call 800-831-0771 to learn more. 800-831-0771. That's 800-831-0771. Or visit ReputationDefender.com.
Anything that is thy neighbor.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw. Want to know more about Wall Street Raw and the Leibovit VR newsletters? Go to wallstreetrawradio.com.
Back, very good friend and always very special guest on Wall Street Raw is my old friend Bill Murphy from the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, GATA. I'm a fervent follower of GATA. In fact, we quote just about everything GATA publishes in our Gold Letter, and we talk about it all the time in our commentary and the work that Bill has done over these years has just been incredible. Bill, thank you again for joining us.
Great to be back, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Well, we know despite the massive quantitative easing by the U.S. Federal Reserve and prices in gold have been under pressure here. We've been writing and talking about this for years and years about the suppression of gold and what's going on out there. And you're the expert. What's happening now?
Well, it's like Groundhog Day. I mean,
okay.
We've got a situation just last night, whatever the Senate proposed a budget which was going to take it up, put in another $1 billion deficit. In the old days, that stuff used to matter, and Republican conservatives would have gone nuts and complained about it. Instead, you've got the dollar going up today, and it happened last night, and gold getting trashed, and it's really something else. Everything has changed, and from my standpoint, as chairman of GATA, that the only thing that really matters to the gold and silver markets is what this gold cartel, which we call it, is able to get away with, and they've been going at it now for years, and it's the reason that every other asset on the planet, with these low interest rates you're talking about, and with all the other issues, keeps going nowhere, and everything else is soaring.
What about the Bitcoin phenomenon? We haven't talked about that in recent months. How has that played into or not played into the gold situation?
Well, it's just my own thinking, Mark, but I was at a conference with Jeff Berwick in Acapulco at the beginning of the year, and the Bitcoin people were ecstatic. They were so happy, God bless them, that Bitcoin had got to the same price as gold at $1,240. And now you're having it nearly at $6,000, and gold's gone up $30. And it just shows to me how rigged the gold and silver markets are, because the cryptocurrencies are not manipulated by the U.S. government, and you see what they've just done this year on fundamental factors that should have been extremely gold bullish and silver bullish. And that's how bad things are right now. It's really out of control. I mean, it's in control, unfortunately.
Do you think Donald Trump will do anything to change this gold suppression, or that's not a priority in what you've read?
Well, I always go back to a line that I heard years ago, and it seems to be true ever since, that Bill Clinton said, and it's a quote, "I didn't realize I wouldn't be running the show when I became president." And I think that's the case today with the money and power behind the scenes. And whether you're a Trump fan or not, that's everybody's own opinion. But I know, in my opinion, they were petrified that if he won, that it could create chaos in the markets because of what he would say and do. And, of course, they had to change the entire perception. They did it the day after the election. As you remember, before the election, if Trump was supposed to win, the Dow went straight down and gold went straight up. And with a surprise win, they decided to change perception so it wouldn't matter, and they put this market manipulation in the stock market on steroids and kept gold and silver in check, and it's been going on since the day after the election and never since.
All right. The powers that be are in control. That's the bottom line. Bill Murphy from the Gold Antitrust Action Committee, and it's always a pleasure having you on the show. We'll have you back real soon. We only have a short segment here, but the point has been made. The suppression continues. Thank you, Bill.
Well, thank you, Mark. Bye-bye.
So much has been done by Bill and Gavin, so I was spent a couple minutes talking about that as well. Bill's written many essays, and he's reported evidence of collusion among financial institutions to suppress the price of gold. And the response to these essays has been favorable. That the committee was formed and basically incorporated back in 1999. And GATA has financed the federal antitrust lawsuit of its consultant, Reginald H. Howe versus Bank for the International Settlements, which was pursued by the U.S. District Court in Boston from 2000 to 2002. And while the Howe suit was dismissed on a jurisdictional technicality, it yielded valuable information at a court hearing in 2001 and became the model for Blanchard Coin and Bullion's antitrust lawsuit brought the following year against Barrick Gold and J.P. Morgan in the U.S. District Court in New Orleans, whose settlement appears to have included Barrick Gold's decision to stop selling gold in advance. And using the Freedom of Information Act through 2008 and 2009, GATA sought access to the Federal Reserve's gold-related records, eliciting an admission from the Fed that it has gold swap arrangements with foreign banks and insists on keeping them secret. To obtain the records at issue in December 2009, GATA sued the Fed in U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia. In February 2011, the court ruled that most of the Fed's gold records could remain secret, but that one had to be disclosed, which was the minutes of the April 1997 meeting of the G10 Committee on Gold and Foreign Exchange. The minutes released by the Fed 2 weeks after the court's ruling showed G10 members, Treasury, and central bank officials secretly discussing the coordination of their policies toward the gold market, and the court ordered the Fed to pay costs to GATA. So GATA has collected and published dozens of documents showing Western Treasury and central bank efforts to intervene both openly and surreptitiously against the free market in gold. So again, we talk about free markets, and of course I think many of you probably already recognize or understand that they are rigged. We got central banks manipulating interest rates, currencies. We know the Fed's in there with the stock market. If you think this advance that we've had since the election is just pure supply and demand, look at the market. Every time it tries to sell off, it's immediately supported by the Fed. And of course the gold-silver situation has been going on for decades. Why? Well, of course, the silver and gold are exploding to the upside and makes the central bank policies look bad. Meanwhile, though they poo-poo gold and discuss why that we don't need that and why we need, electronic currencies, we don't need cash, which is a whole other story. We talked about that with Craig Smith over at Swiss America about the war on cash. Meanwhile, despite all that discussion, gold still is very important to the central banks, and they're very careful of making sure they still maintain their gold, because ultimately that's the store value for centuries. So it should be real interesting. At some point, it'll all blow up, or maybe there's so much gold out there that we don't know about it, and it's keeping the prices down for other reasons. But we know what really goes on the COMEX in New York, and I've discussed this in my newsletter for many, many years. It's a fraudulent market because you can sell contracts, and those contracts may not represent physical gold or silver or other metals that you actually control or own, and by just hitting those bids, so to speak, you can suppress the price. And if you got an unlimited checkbook, as you would, of course, if you got the government behind you, and many of the big banks have the government behind them, we've talked about names like J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs and others, then obviously you don't have to worry about coming up with the money for those, and you can continue to suppress the metal. Stay tuned. We'll be back after the break with Sinclair No here on Wall Street Raw.
You're listening to Wall Street Raw with Mark Leibovit. Go to wallstreetradio.com for information on Mark's newsletters and products. Stay tuned. Mark will be right back.
I'm now convinced more than ever that we're just one major headline away from the next market crisis. Guess what? A new timeline report that I just read says that I happen to be right. Something big is getting ready to happen, just like it does at least once a decade over the last 100 years. An energy crisis in 79, an S&L crisis in 89, and the last two I warned you about, remember? The dot-com bust in 99 and the subprime crisis in 09. What's next? I want you to call for a free copy of Swiss America's new timeline report.
Thanks, Michael. Call toll-free 888-732-7164. That's 888-732-7164.
I've told you often, those who don't learn from history are destined to repeat it. Take action. It's no longer a question of if it's going to happen. It's just a question of when it's going to happen.
Call toll-free 888-732-7164. That's 888-732-7164.
Concur does what might seem impossible for your business. It makes employees happy and finance happy. How? Well, employees love automated expense reports and invoices they can submit and approve from anywhere. And finance loves that they have full visibility into employee spend. Plus, Concur integrates with leading finance systems. Concur makes the process better for everyone. Concur. Expense, travel, invoice. Learn more at concur.com.
Hello, Mr. Anderson. The NSA has noticed how much time you spend on conservative news sites. We have no choice but to consider you a domestic terrorist.
Tired of your internet activity being monitored by Big Brother? Get virtualshield.com, the world's easiest to use virtual private network. Browse the web anonymously, leaving pesky advertisers and spies in the dust. Get started today at virtualshield.com. Take advantage of our free 30-day trial. virtualshield.com. You have the right to remain private.
Looking for that edge during those intimate moments? We see many ads for enhancement, but the side effects include death. At GCN Team, we should change the Healthy Body, Brain, and Heart Pack to the Healthy Libido Pack. The brain and heart are not the only organs that require a healthy vascular system. For proper blood flow at the right moment, go to GCNteam.com or call 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203. That's 877-878-4203.
If you're an unincorporated business owner, it's too late for you. That is, if you've already been sued and lost your home, your car, and your personal life savings. But if you haven't been sued yet, there is still time to incorporate and protect your personal assets. And the first step is just a phone call away, because Incorporate.com is now giving away a free incorporation toolkit to all business owners, including exclusive information on how to start and grow your business. For your free incorporation toolkit, call now, 1-800-936-9256. Incorporation is the shield that protects your personal assets. Without it, you could lose everything. That's why at Incorporate.com, they just make incorporating or forming an LLC quick and easy. They don't provide legal or financial advice. If someone sues tomorrow, will you lose everything? Don't wait until it's too late. Call now for your free incorporation toolkit. Hurry, they're still giving them away for free at 1-800-936-9256. Call 1-800-936-9256. That's 1-800-936-9256.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon you'll need a plan and place to survive. Forget bunkers. You're not a live underground gopher. You need survivalist camps, the ultimate fully functional, off-the-grid mobile survival bug-out house that's well-equipped and custom-built to outlast any other RV or trailer. Bold statement? You bet. See them now at survivalistcamps.com. That's survivalistcamps.com. Trust your family's survival to survivalistcamps.com.
Responsibility begins and ends with our partners and our shareholders, and that's it.
There is no freedom without the law.
Get it? Got it? Good.
Welcome back to Wall Street Raw and the final segment with Mark Leibovit. Now, here's the elf himself.
Welcome back, my good friend and always special guest, Sinclair No from KFNN 1510 Phoenix, and author of what I call the incomparable blog, EatTheBankers.com, and it really is special. Sinclair, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
The Fed's really in the news this week, and I think we should touch on that first. Yellen paid a little visit to Donald Trump midweek, probably, according to some of the notes I read, and I think maybe your notes, that maybe perhaps giving him some advice on how not to blow up the economy when he makes a new appointment.
I don't think Janet Yellen is going to be reappointed when her term expires in February. She met with Trump for about 30 minutes. If that's the job interview, she's not getting it. There are several others on the list of potential Federal Reserve chairs, and my guess is that it will be someone else. Stephen Mnuchin, Treasury Secretary, is leading the search for a new Fed chair, and there's no indication that he is indicating a preference for Yellen. I got to say, Yellen has done a pretty decent job at the Fed. She has kept things very steady and not been rocking the boat, which is kind of what you'll want from the Federal Reserve if you want anything at all from them. And that's certainly open to debate. But I don't think Yellen's going to do it. And really, I would have to say the best thing she could do is say, thanks, it's been fun, I'm leaving in February, and just hope that the economy doesn't crash between now and February, or that the markets don't crash between now and February, and she can make a clean getaway.
that would be the best thing that she could do personally. Because, quite frankly, you've got the Fed tightening, quantitative tightening now. They're moving out of the Treasury market. They're moving out of the mortgage-backed securities market. This is a massive, massive market. They're selling off part of their $4.5 trillion balance sheet of debt instruments. Look at what fueled the rally in the stock market over the last 9 years. A large part of it has to be that the Federal Reserve was coming in and buying up all this stuff. In fact, you look at a chart of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet, overlay that on a chart of the S&P 500, you can't tell which one's which. They're both just going up, 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 up. All that money that the Federal Reserve was supplying to the markets went into the markets, primarily into stocks. Couldn't go over into bonds. The Fed was the one buying up the bonds. That left nothing for anybody else to buy, hardly. And so money went into stocks. That's where it went. What happens when the Fed pulls the plug on that? What happens when they reverse course? I have a hard time imagining that it will turn out well. It never has in the past. So for Yellen, make a clean escape when you can. That leaves a couple of other players, and primarily I think we're seeing Jay Powell and Kevin Warsh and maybe even John Taylor, the economist out of Stanford, as among the top possibilities to replace Yellen.
Well, the stock market keeps moving up, so it seems to like whatever choices are on the table, apparently.
Yeah. Actually, I'm looking at this market, and this is starting to look a little bit like a melt-up to me, Mark. I'm not sure what you're seeing in the charts right now, but it seems a little bit excessive. Not that we're having huge moves on any given day. We're not. But we're doing it with fairly low volume. And it's as if the markets just aren't paying much attention to much of anything. Part of it is that we've got good year-over-year comparisons as we're moving through earnings season. But beyond that, I'm not sure what's really driving this market so much higher. It's not as if the economy has taken off. The economy's just been rolling along at the same basic rate.
Well, just maybe anticipation of the Fed appointment and also easy money and the repatriation of funds and hopefully that tax reform, right? I mean, these are the excuses, I guess. You know, that's all you can point to.
Excuses, but if any of that falls through, I think the markets could take a fairly sizable tumble almost at any given moment. It's a little bit frightening, but, also long overdue. And it's not as if you can't make money in a down market. You can, but for most people, it's a little bit harrowing. As we were reminded of this week, this past week was the 30-year anniversary of Black Monday.
I was going to ask you about that.
87.
I was holding my breath on Thursday.
Well, I didn't think it would happen on the 30-year anniversary, but it's a reminder that particularly as we moved into program trading, and this October 87 was the first time we saw program trading really kind of backfire in the markets in a substantial way. And all of a sudden, everybody was running for the exits before they could even manually have a human place a trade. The machines had taken over, and the machines were running for the exits. It was just kind of an automatic. It was built in. These were the hedging algorithms that were built into each and every trade almost on Wall Street. And there was this mass exodus that took place. We still have those trading programs in place, and I'm not sure that they're that much more sophisticated than they were 30 years ago. Somewhat they are, yes.
Yeah, we had the flash crash in 2010, so we've had some experience since then.
We've had some experience, and I just wonder if one thing the markets do is they fluctuate. And occasionally we see the mob mentality or the herd mentality take over Wall Street, and a downtrend, a sharp downtrend, something turning, and all of a sudden, a flash crash turns into a stampede.
The key for the flash crash, Sinclair, is for me to go to the dentist for a cleaning. That's what happened on May 10th. That's when the market turned down on May 10th. I was sitting there watching the flash crash as I was getting my teeth cleaned, and I swore I'll never go to the dentist during market hours after that experience.
Okay.
So when I schedule my next cleaning, you get short the market.
Yeah, I think so. That's the answer right there.
It gets down to stuff like this, right? It's unbelievable.
It very well might. At this point, the market, I think, is overextended. Now, when does it turn? I don't know, but it will eventually. That much I do know.
Right, and we're over 23,000, and it seems like it's got its targets now set at 24, 25, and there are some technical analysts that are measuring up over 25,000, just to let you know.
Sure.
Sinclair, we ran out of time.
Very quickly.
I know, very quickly. It could happen, the upside acceleration you just referred to. Sinclair, no, KFNN 1510 Phoenix. Love having Sinclair on the show. We'll have him back next week, and have a great weekend, Sinclair. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
That's always interesting. Thank you again, Sinclair. Looking back at 1987, it seems like yesterday, Black Monday, of course, came on a Thursday this year. While we realize that history never exactly repeats, it rhymes, and we didn't experience that 30th anniversary. The Dow was down 22.6% during that crash, by the way. And, but think about it. 30 years ago, in 1987, the market was up a great deal more. It's hard to remember those numbers, but I'll try to refresh your memory. The Dow was up 43.6%. The S&P was up 39.1% when it peaked 2 months just earlier. As we do each week, we close our show with what our old friend Ed Hart used to say on the old Financial News Network. And we do here, we will know in the fullness of time. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for listening to Wall Street Raw with nationally recognized market timer and previous Wall Street Week Elf, Mark Leibovit. If you missed any of today's show or to get in touch with Mark, please go to wallstreetrawradio.com. Any stocks or investment discussed on Wall Street Raw are not in any way a recommendation or solicitation to buy, sell, or hold. We first recommend you seek out a licensed financial professional for advice. Go to wallstreetrawradio.com for more information on Mark's newsletters and products.
High-performance investors and traders use superior financial tools to achieve superior returns. You have that tool with Mark Leibovit, nationally renowned top market timer, legendary television Wall Street Week elf, and nightly business report market monitor, who shares with you his unique market tools and commentary at wallstreetraw.com. Here, Mark provides you with his latest ideas on how to help build and protect your wealth and help you avoid the next big market tsunami. Mark has a special free gift for listeners of his Wall Street Raw radio show. Go to wallstreetraw.com and sign up for his free monthly Cannabis Vice News Raw report. While there, go ahead and sign up for his free monthly Gold News Raw report. Both are totally free. No credit card information is required, and no one will call. Sign up today for your free Cannabis Vice News Raw report and Gold News Raw report at wallstreetraw.com.
In an emergency, you need a fire now. But what if the wood is wet? No problem for InstaFire. Our non-toxic fire starter packs lights wet wood, floats, and can even burn on water or in any weather. Sustains winds up to 30 miles per hour, and each pouch weighs only 1.75 ounces. Need an emergency or camp stove? Get the InstaFire Inferno stove that boils 20 ounces of water in under 3 minutes with controllable heat and temps from 425 to 1500 degrees. Free shipping. Go to InstaFire.com and use discount code Radio30 up to 3 times for 30% off your order. InstaFire. Fire in an instant.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.